Budget MTG Decks. All magic fun, all cards under $1. I'm David, and this is the Magnificent Joe.
Thanks, Dazzling David, and I'm looking forward to explain you more about the Azorius game today. Let's go for it!
Let us do that. Today we're going to talk about fun and balanced duel decks. These are all 2 colors, 60 cards, self-contained, and meant to be a perfect balance against any of the other decks within this series.
But best of all cards that we use today are less than $1. So on average, the deck costs $11.
That's right. As you said already, today we're going to be looking at the Azorius Senate, which is white and blue.
And the guild mechanic is detain, which means that target creature can't attack, block, or use its activated abilities.
Pretty sweet, pretty sweet. The playstyle of this deck is going to be to basically shut down your opponent's ability to attack or even defend themselves. Absolutely, and then once that's done, you get to swing in with the air cavalry. So it is going to be loads and loads of fun. Let's have a look at the creatures.
So our guild champion has a bit of guild power with Ravnica of the 10th for 5 mana. Now she's a 4/4 and protected from red. When Ravnica enters the battlefield, you detain each non-land permanent with converted mana cost 4 or less.
Yeah, she does loads of work. She is a bomb, a 4/4 coming in with protection from red. Very, very nice. On top of that, on the turn she comes in, all your opponents' converted mana cost 4 or less permanents, well, non-land permanents, are shut down, so you can attack with impunity, and of course she can block and attack through red creatures like crazy. Super, super nice.
Then we've got Zealous Guardian for 1 mana, and he's a 1/1 and has flash abilities.
Yeah, so basically just a 1/1, but you can also just cast it with an instant speed, so you can block when people aren't expecting you to block with it, and you can maybe kill a toughness 1 creature of your opponent when they weren't expecting it.
Then we've got Gideon's Lawkeeper for 1 mana, and he's also a 1/1. And when you pay 1 mana, you tap and you tap your target creature.
Yeah, very nice. If somebody's got a creature which is super, super big, really annoying, you don't know what to do with it, with Gideon's Lawkeeper and 1 white mana, you can shut it down every turn, or you can use it to attack and tap that creature so that they can't block with it. Very nice, very versatile.
Then we've got Order of the Stars for 1 mana, and this is a 0/1. It has defender capabilities, and as Order of the Stars comes into play, you can choose a color. And Order of the Stars has protection from that chosen color.
Yeah, very simply, it's a 0/1 with defenders that can't attack, but it also has protection from whatever the most common thing is of your opponents, and they won't be able to attack through it unless, of course, it has evasion or trample.
And then we've got one very familiar Judge for 1 mana, and he is a 1/1. And this Judge has flying capabilities. The Sacrifice Judge Familiar counter target instant or sorcery spell unless the controller pays 1 mana.
Yeah, basically just a 1/1 flyer for 1. Very nice, and it's going to be attacking very easily right at the beginning of the game. On the other hand, if somebody plays a very nasty instant or sorcery spell that could destroy you or destroy the board presence or do something very, very disruptive, you could sacrifice this guy, and if they used all their mana, they don't have an extra mana to pay for the Judge's Familiar's cost, then you can counter that. Very handy.
Our next creature is Azorius First Wing for 2 mana, and he's a 2/2. Now this Griffin has flying abilities and protection from enchantments.
Yeah, correct. A 2/2 flyer for 2 is sick right at the beginning of the game. You can't enchant it with one of your beneficial enchantments, that's too bad, but then again your opponent can't cast any negative enchantments on it either, so actually pretty nice.
And then we've got Azorius Arrestor for 2 mana, and he's a 2/1, and when he enters the battlefield, you detain target creatures an opponent controls.
Yeah, so you get to pick, comes in as a 2/1, not too impressive, but for 2 mana you get to detain 1 creature of your opponent's. You know, could be just what is necessary to get through with the rest of the creatures that you have on the battlefield. So it's good at the beginning, also good later on in the game.
And then we've got a Deputy, of which I have difficulties pronouncing the name.
It's Deputy of Acquittals.
Acquittals, that was it. You get him for 2 mana, and he's a 2/2. And he has flash abilities, and when this deputy enters the battlefield, you may return another target creature you control.
Yeah, you can use this card in 2 ways. Either when people attack, you cast it with flash and use it to block a creature that would die because of Deputy of Acquittals, so you can blow them out with that. or you can use it when somebody casts a removal spell on one of your very, very valuable creatures. Then you cast Deputy Equitos with Flash, comes in, and then you return the targeted creature who was gonna die back to your hand, then it doesn't die, so you cannot save him.
Now I love the name of this creature, the Dauntless River Marshal. You get him for 2 mana and he's a 2/1. The Dauntless River Marshal gets +1/+1 as long as you control an island. Now if you pay 4 mana, you can tap your target creature.
Yeah, very nice. It's always going to be a 3/2 because you're going to want there's a lot of islands in here and a lot of planes, so you're going to be able to have this guy be a 3/2. Super nice. On top of that, you may think 4 mana to tap a creature, that's super expensive because Gideon Lawkeeper does it for only 1 white mana. But you have to realize that this guy can do it right on the turn that it comes in because Summoning Sickness doesn't stop it from using its abilities. And on top of that, you can also do it multiple times. If you have loads of mana, you can maybe tap 2 creatures. Very nice.
And then we've got Nuprath Guildmarsh for 2 mana, and this is a 2/2. And if you pay 2 mana, your target creature gains flying abilities until the end of its turn. Or if you pay 5 mana, you detain target non-land permanent.
Yeah, a lot of our creatures already have flying, so you don't use the first ability too often. But what's super nice is the second ability for 5 mana, being able to detain a creature every single turn. That can be really, really raw. Just taking out your opponent's best creature every single turn for 5 mana can be game winning.
And then we've got Talon Trooper. You get him for 3 mana and he's a 2/3 and he has flying abilities.
Yeah, very simple, just a 2/3 flyer for 3. Nothing to write home about, but he's a flyer, so better use him.
And of course Soulsworn Jury for 3 mana and he's a 1/4. Now this spirit has defender capability, so if you pay 2 mana for this jury, you counter the target creature spell.
Yeah, you do have to sacrifice this guy, but you can have him sit on the table. He's a defender, you can't attack with it, but you can have him sit on the table, block very well, and then when your opponent casts a very sick creature that could turn the tides of the balance, say, no, I'm just going to pay 2 mana, sacrifice this guy, and then that creature spell got countered. Super handy.
I think this is a very cool card. I love dragons. So this is the Tower Drake. You get him for 3 mana and he's a 2/1. And of course has flying capabilities.
Wouldn't be much of a dragon if it didn't have,
Maybe a Mushu, he can't fly.
Sure.
Then if you pay 1 mana, the Tower Drake gets +0/+1 until the end of its turn.
Yeah, not a lot of toughness on this Drake. It's a 2/1, but being able to make its toughness very high with all your spare white mana means it's hard to block, usually doesn't die in combat because of that, and you can also use it to either attack or block actually. It's very versatile.
And then leave Sky Knight for 3 mana, so this is a 3/1 and has flying capabilities. Now when Leaf enters the battlefield, you detain target non-land permanent.
Yeah, pretty good, just a 3/1 flyer, does a lot of damage for 3 mana because of the evasion, but being able to shut down a non-land permanent when it comes in is very beneficial.
And then we've got Arctic Aven for 3 mana, and this is a 2/1. And of course, a wizard bird.
Bird, I was going to say bird wizard, but it is a wizard bird too.
Well, he needs to be able to fly, right?
Obviously.
Yes. And he also gets +1/+1 as long as you control a plane.
Correct. It's always going to be a 3/2 because of the frequency of planes in this deck, so that's very nice. And on top of that, for 1 white mana, you can give it lifelink, so that means you're going to be attacking with it, you're going to be doing 3 damage, you're going to be gaining 3 life. Actually does a lot of good stuff, this bird wizard during the game.
We actually got another Aven bird wizard, but this is Aven Maimonmenser, and you get him for 3 mana, and this is a 3/1. And he's also able to fly, and at the beginning of your upkeep you may put a feather counter on the target creature. If you do that, that creature is 3/1 and has flying capabilities as long as it has the feather counter on it.
Yeah, so all those little guys that come in and they just detain something for 1 turn and then they don't do anything, or the 1/1 flash creature, all those guys will start to slowly but surely become 3/1 flyers, and that can get out of control real quick.
Then our next creature is a knight, so the Hussar Patrol for 4 mana, and he's a 2/4. He has Flesh and Vigilance.
Yeah. Vigilance means it's very handy to just attack and you can block with it. You can do both things, so you can get double duty out of this creature. Also, don't forget to cast them in your opponent's attack phase with Flash to make sure that when they attack with something that has power less than 4 but toughness 2 or less, you can pop it down with Flash, block, and they will never see it coming. Very nice.
And then Azorius Justicar for 4 mana, a 2/2. And when he enters a battlefield, you detain up to 2 target creatures your opponent controls.
Yeah, so 2/2 is nothing to write home about. It's not going to be doing a lot in combat, but the fact that it shuts down 2 creatures could be just what you need to be able to swing in and deal the lethal damage.
And then the Skymark Rock for 4 mana, a 3/3. He is also able to fly, and when he attacks, you may return the target creature defending player controls with toughness 2 or less.
Yeah.
Can you explain a bit more?
Yeah, very simple. It's a 3/3 fly, which is already pretty sweet. On top of that, every turn is going to be attacking, and every turn you're going to be returning a creature with toughness 2 or less back into your opponent's hands. And there's a lot of creatures with toughness 2 or less actually in these decks, because the creatures with a lot of very nice, very good abilities usually have low toughness. So you're going to be getting rid of some very key elements of your opponent.
And then there's this beautiful angel, Seraph of the Sword. For 4 mana, she's a 3/3 and is able to fly, and she will prevent all combat damage that would be dealt to her.
Yeah, people hate to see this card in front of them, because that basically means that the combat phase is a point in time when Seraph of the Sword shines. She cannot be destroyed in combat. She can block with impunity. She can attack with impunity. She just does not die. People need to come with instants or sorceries which remove her. Otherwise, Seraph of the Sword is going to be a sword in their side, basically.
And then Jelen Sphinx for 5 mana. This is a 1/4, flying and vigilance. And when this Sphinx attacks, other attacking creatures get +1/+1 until the end of its turn.
Yeah. So 1/5 and vigilance means you're going to be attacking with it every turn, because you can still block with it. It's got a big butt. 5 toughness is huge. On top of it, you got a lot of very low toughness flyers. So when you attack with Jelen Sphinx, their toughness becomes a little bit bigger, their attack becomes a little bit bigger, and they're going to be doing a lot of damage.
And then Argent of Justice for 5 mana, a 4/4, able to fly. And when he dies, he actually takes the target opponent
permanent with him, yeah.
With him?
So this is actually really annoying for people to have to fight against, because you can attack with it, you can block with it, and people don't want this creature of yours to die, because as soon as this creature dies, you're going to exile the best thing that they've got, whether it's the creature that they blocked with, whether it's an artifact or an enchantment. Maybe I wouldn't recommend land, because that's just unfair, but yeah, basically the best thing they have is going along with the archive. So people usually just leave it alone. And a 4/4 flyer to be left alone is going to be doing a lot of good work.
And then Asperia is going to Watch Our Sky for 6
Sure.
mana, and she's 3/3 and flying. And when she enters the battlefield, you detain target creature.
Your opponent controls, yeah.
Yeah.
So 3/3 flyer for 6 mana is a bit steep. You know, I wouldn't say this is a great card, but the fact that when it comes in, it also detains a creature means that at this point in time, when you've got 6 mana, you're probably going to be able to swing in and do a lot of damage while detaining their opponent's biggest threat.
And then we've got Argent of the Triumvirate.
That's the Archon of the Triumvirate.
Yeah, you say it much better.
I say it differently. I don't know if it's better.
I think it's better. Well, you get him for 7 mana, and he's a 4/5 and flying. And when he attacks, you detain up to 2 target non-land permanents.
Yeah. Okay, 7 mana is a lot to pay. It's very expensive, but this is a game-winning card, because as soon as this Archon starts attacking, you're detaining 2 things, the 2 best things, and you've got more creatures to attack with. Now, that game is over when this guy starts attacking. And, well, I guess those are the creatures, so let's have a look at the enchantments. This deck has 4 enchantments.
Our first, kind of sad looking enchantment is called Pacifism for 2 mana, and he will make sure that the enchanted creature can't attack or block anymore.
Yeah, that's right. It may look very sad, but it is super handy to shut down your opponent's biggest beater, something you can't deal with. You just say, okay, can't attack, can't block anymore. You effectively take it out of the game.
Let's now move to the Righteous Authority for 5 mana. So the enchanted creature gets +1/+1 for each card in your hand, but also at the beginning of the draw step you get an additional card.
Yeah, just already getting an additional card is super nice every turn. On top of it, you pop this on one of your flyers and you hold a couple of extra cards in your hand, you can attack with it, you're going to be doing a lot of damage. And then later on you can just cast those spells in the second main phase, so no loss there.
Our next spell, the Steel of Godhead for 3 mana, has 2 aspects. So as long as the enchanted creature is white, it gets 1/1/1, plus it has lifelink. Now if the enchanted creature is blue, it gets +1/+1 and it is unblockable.
Yeah, very sweet. Of course, if the creature is both white and blue, it gets both of those things, so it gets +2/+2 and lifelink and unblockable. You pop this on one of your multicolored creatures, you're going to be very, very happy.
Now our final card is the Martial Law for 4 mana, and at the beginning of your upkeep it will detain the target creature an opponent controls.
Yeah, it's really sick because once you pop this down, it basically means every turn at the beginning of your turn you're going to shut down one of your opponent's creatures. And that could just be the biggest, most annoying creature they've got, and you do that every single turn. Your opponents hate to see this card on the battlefield. Okay, well those were the enchantments. Let's have a look at the artifacts. This deck has 3 artifacts.
The first artifact is called Azorius Cluestone for 3 mana, and you can tap the card to add either white or blue mana to your mana pool.
Yeah, on top of that you can also pay 2 mana, tap it, sacrifice it, and then draw a card. So at the beginning of the game it mana ramps you, it mana fixes you. Later on in the game we don't need that anymore. You can just sack it for maybe something better.
Our second artifact, called Azorius Key Rune, for 3 mana, just as the previous card, you can tap it to add a white or blue mana to your mana pool.
Yeah, this one has another special ability that you can pay 2 mana and it becomes a 2/2 flyer till the end of turn. Pretty nice to attack your opponent with.
Now our third artifact is a bit more complex. It's called the Shield of Righteous for 2 mana. So your equipped creature gets a +0/+2 and has vigilance. But also, whenever the equipped creature blocks a creature, that creature doesn't untap during its controller's next untap step.
Yeah, it also costs 2 mana to equip. Sounds a little bit complicated. All you do is on a creature that you're going to want to be blocking with, you pop this on them, it becomes a little bit tougher, you can still attack with it and block with it, and whenever it blocks somebody, that creature is not going to be of any use to their opponent in the next turn. So very, very handy. Those were the artifacts. Now let's have a look at the instants and sorceries.
When the Azorius use their charm for 2 mana, you basically have 3 options. So your first option is that the creatures you control actually gain lifelink until the end of their turn. Now your second option is to draw a new card, or put the target attacking or blocking creature on top of its owner's library.
Yeah, this is a super versatile card. I love it. I especially like putting target attacking creature back on its opponent's library. Very, very nice combat trick. Top of that, if you're in trouble, you need a little bit of life, giving all your creatures lifelink, very, very sick. And if you don't have anything better to do, you can always replace it and hopefully get something better.
Our second card has 2 sides. The first side, to protect for 3 mana. It will allow a target creature to get +2/+4 until the end of its turn. The second side, the serve for 2 mana. It will allow the target creature to get -6/-0 until the end of its turn.
Yeah, you can also cast both of these at the same time and maybe win 2 combats with 2 of your creatures, but don't be afraid to use with one of the sides if it helps you win a combat.
Now our next tough looking card is called Swift Justice, and until the end of the turn, a target creature gets +1/+0 and gains first strike and lifelink.
Yeah, that's a lot of nice little abilities there. The +1 and first strike is going to make sure that you're going to win combat when you normally wouldn't have. And the lifelink, if you put it on a very big creature of yours, is going to be able to give you a very nice life swing.
And now we have the Rebuke for 3 mana, and it will destroy target attacking creature.
Yeah, very flavorful for the Azorius deck. It's basically saying, hey, don't attack me because if I've got 3 mana open, I am going to bluff that I have Rebuke, or I actually have Rebuke, and you attack me and that thing is going to be fried. So it's an awesome and very flavorful card.
And now for the next card, the Repel Intruders for 4 mana. If you play a white mana, you get to put a 1/1 soldier into play. Or if you play a blue mana, You counter up to 1 target creature spell if... David?
Yeah, so it's fine. You get, if you play with white, you're going to get 2 1/1 soldiers, and if you play with blue, you get a counter target creature spell. Of course, you're always going to want to play this with both, so that when somebody plays a creature spell, you're going to be, hey, no, I counter it, you don't get that creature. On top of that, I get 2 little 1/1s that I'm going to use to smash your face in next turn, or at least to block with. Not too bad.
And now we get to our Aether Toe for 5 mana.
4 mana.
4 mana, thank you, David.
It's fine.
And it will put target attacking or blocking creature on top of its owner's library.
Yeah, I understand why you say, because it really should be 5 mana, but we get it for a very good deal for 4 mana. I was about to say 3 mana. For 4 mana, once again, very nice to put an attacking creature on top of its owner's library, sets them back quite a bit. On top of that, this card has Conspire, which means if you have 2 creatures that share a color with it, which you're always going to have because this deck only has white and blue, you can tap those 2 creatures and do it again. So they come in swinging with 2 creatures, you can put both of them back on top of his owner's library. Very nasty.
Now the next card, Aetherize for 4 mana. It will return all attacking creatures to their owner's hand.
This is such a beautiful, beautiful card to have in your hand when you've got mana open and they think you don't have anything to block with. They swing in with everything they've got. They're cackling and they think, I've won the game, you're dead. And you go, bam, you want to slam it on the table and go, Aetherize, and everything goes back to their hands. And then you chuckle loudly. And that was pretty much it for the instants and sorceries, so let's have a look at the lands.
We divided the lands in 9 plains, 9 islands and 4 guild gates.
That's right, very simple, just even mana distribution. Nothing more to say about that, so let's have a look at the conclusion.
So in conclusion, this deck is a lot of fun, not only because we've got a lot of great looking cards again, but also because you can detain your biggest creatures from your opponents. So you can use the flying creature, you can block them, you can freeze them. I think those are great elements of this deck.
That's right, this Azorius deck really plays like the police of Ravnica, shutting down everything of your opponents and then coming in with the air cavalry. It is a lot of fun. Having so many flyers makes it really difficult for people to block you, and having so many detain elements and enchantments such as pacifism and such makes it very difficult for opponents to form a proper attack on you. So you're basically controlling the entire game. Not only that, but it's also quite affordable, right?
Yes, you get a lot of fun for a deck that costs you approximately $11, so it's $10.85 to be specific.
Yeah, and you can check out the deck list below. On top of that, I'm going to ask you guys right now, in this instant, to click on the subscribe button because it helps us out a lot, and it's also free. Yeah, very good. A lot of love for you guys if you press that subscribe button. Super nice. I guess that's it. So thanks for watching. I'm David.
I'm Joe.
And this was Budget MTG Decks.
Thank you.